All right. It appears we are going. It appears. Start recording. Change this to live chat. Okay, it appears we're going. It says excellent, excellent. So I'm going to start my little thing here. Oop. Anyways, hey, good morning. It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo, with yet another episode of Red Stone Lapis Lazuli. A little muted today, a little bit down-ish, because for the every time, I'm a little bit down, or a little bit muted, this time. Because I have been fucking sick, dude. I've been sick. So after my show last week, remember my show last week? I did a show last week. Every fucking Sunday morning I did a show. Last Sunday. After my show, I went down to the Riverfront Park in Salem, Oregon to participate in a pro-Palestine rally. And it was a really good rally. There was a lot of people there. There was at least 100 people there, if not more. There was a lot of people. I was pretty surprised. There's a lot of people that showed up for the pro-Palestine rally. Yeah, dude, let's just chill here. A lot of people showed up for the pro-Palestine rally. There's a chat rate of 1, but I see no chat, so okay. There's a pro-Palestine rally in Salem, Oregon, and I went to this rally because it was a good rally, right? It's, you know, it's good. It's good to hang out, and it's good to hang out. Dude, what am I? Oh, that encoding lag probably came from something else. I'm hoping. When I paused it or something. When I was messing with stuff, yeah. But it's dropping like a brick. Okay. Yeah. So I went to this pro-Palestine rally in Salem, Oregon, and it was a good rally. There's a lot of people, but it was not without some difficulties. There were some problems. The problems stemmed from this guy who was not part of the rally. He didn't believe in the message of free Palestine. He didn't believe in the message of free Palestine. Instead, he was a white supremacist, and he came with the express purpose of causing problems for his cop friends. So, let me give you an example. So we were all rallied. We were all just getting ready to like bunch up in a group when this one guy dressed up in black, and look at what he's got, dude. Look at these gloves. Those gloves are made for punching people in the face. Look at the knuckles and shit. He's dressed in body armor, dude. A guy dressed in body armor comes with this giant flag and megaphone and tries to talk over everybody else who's there, and just walks around and won't leave even though he's not wanted. Why would he act like this? Well, he's wearing a camera. He's wearing he wears a camera. So he's trying to instigate a fight so he can blame other people for their bad behavior. But it's his bad behavior. Why would he come by wearing body armor to a protest that he doesn't believe in? Well, and to cause problems. Well, because he knows he's not alone. Back in the day, I guess, I don't know, before cameras and shit, if you go to a rally by yourself with the express purpose of causing problems, you're going to get handled. But this guy didn't come alone. He looks like he's alone. He looks like he's just a lone guy wearing body armor, trying to pick fights with kids and elderly people. That's what he looks like. But really, he has all his cop friends who are watching. They're waiting for anybody from the Palestine group to take the bait. He is bait. He is trying to get bad behavior, trying to get a reason for the police to come in and break up the rally. That was his entire purpose. And the dude ended up spitting all over everyone. Well, I wouldn't say spitting all over everyone, but like I got sick. I got real sick after this event. I don't know how. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know. I've had every single vaccination you can get. I took 2 COVID tests and they were both negative. So I don't know what happened. I don't know like if I got sick from, but I feel like terrible. I had really bad congestion. I had a fever, I had a headache and body aches. Like I had the flu shot too, so I don't think it was like, it might have been the flu. I don't know, but I'm still sick even now. I don't feel very good. I'm not 100% yet, but I need to do the show, right? The show must go on. Yeah, you can't see, right? The show must go on. So yeah, dude, it's awful. It was awful being sick. Like it was in my lungs, right? There's a bunch of congestion shit in my lungs, and if I lay down, that congestion shit makes it so I can't breathe. I just can't breathe, right? I can't breathe. I'll be like huffing and puffing while trying to go to sleep laying down. It's not gonna work. It doesn't work that way. I had to like use a combination of using an asthma inhaler and then taking a really hot shower to get the steam up in my lungs so I could like sit there for 15-20 minutes and like cough in order to get all that fucking phlegm out of my lungs. So much nasty shit came out. It was gross. Which has led me to join Snoop Dogg in foregoing the smoke. I can no longer smoke cannabis. I like for years, dude, my lungs were just like congested. I guess like not like so badly congested that I couldn't breathe, but enough to be there. And like once I got sick, that little bit of chronic congestion was like I couldn't bear it. So now that I'm like I've worked out a lot of the bad stuff. Now that I've worked all that out, I'm like, man, why would I ever want to pollute my lungs ever again? It's so scary not being able to breathe. It sucks. It sucks not being able to breathe. It sucks to lay down in your bed and trying to sleep, being tired, but you can't sleep because you start drowning. I can't breathe, man. You lay down and I can't breathe. So you can't sleep. You can't rest. Oh, it's awful. It's awful. So why would I want to induce that in myself willingly? No more. I'm not going to smoke cannabis anymore. I'm done. But yeah, that's one thing going on. I have done pretty much nothing in my world, in my Minecraft world. Oh, because I've been sick for the past week. My next plan, I have a couple. Now, as I get better, I have a couple plans. One plan is to come over here and build stables for horses, so I can finally ride horses, because this is a giant plain. On this side of the river, it's a big flat area. Yeah, there's a bunch of like crevasses and holes, sinkholes, but it's still pretty wide open. Trees aren't gonna get in the way, so it's easy to ride a horse. So I should make stables so I can ride a horse throughout this whole beautiful land. So that's one aspect, one thing I want to do. And then see, like here, it's like the forest acts as a natural barrier because you can't really ride a horse through a forest. It doesn't really work. Like maybe in a real forest, but not with all this undergrowth. All right, and the other thing I want to do is create another bridge. Oh, spin. Okay. Create another bridge over here. Da-da-da. You can't see it. It wants to go up onto those, up over there. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Anyways, yeah, I want to go over there. So I'm gonna make a bridge here. I'm gonna make a bridge here, and then YouTube is not. What does that say? YouTube is not receiving enough video. Oh, shitty, dude. I'm supposed to have 10,000 bit upload, and I'm streaming at 8,000 bit. So if I cannot maintain 8,000 bit upload on my Comcast, even though it's advertised for much higher, then what's going on? I don't understand, guys. Oh, I think I wonder if I can tell it to like stick more sharply to the upload. I don't know. Man, that sucks. What's going on? I used to not have these problems. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, I know what the problem is. So I recently updated OBS to 30, version 30. And it might have done something to the yeah, because my bitrate is outrageous, dude. Look at it, it's huge. I can't. I wonder what happened. Yeah, my stream is like hella far behind. Ow. Terrible. Terrible. Look at that. It's, for some reason, it's spiking super high. You know what? I wonder if I can abandon this. What if I abandon this week's? I'm not gonna abandon it. I'm gonna do it later. I gotta do troubleshooting, I guess. Because look at it. Look at it. It's just going outrageous settings. So my output is set at 8,500 kilobits, but I'm going up to like 13 for some reason. What's the dealio? Like, I don't know if even like there's a bunch of like augments you can add to the command line in OBS for recording in AV1, but I don't know if it's for recording in AV1 or just H.264. I don't know if they even works for AV1, if any of those augments work. Like, it's such a anyways, see him. Okay, let's just go on with the show, man. Let's just go on with the show real quick. Let's just real quick, as quick as I can go, right? Let's not dilly-dally. So there's a white supremacist to it. So number one, there's a white supremacist who tried to with the back of the police, tried to disrupt the pro-Palestine rally in Salem, Oregon last Sunday, and I got sick from him. Meanwhile, there was the Jews for Peace protested the Democratic National Committee or Convention or something, some office in D.C. So the Jews for Peace were protesting. So that's what they were doing. They were blocking the entrances basically and singing. So that's what was happening. So this is what the Jews for Peace were doing at the DNC offices. Which side are you on? So what happened was the people inside called the police. And the police came and pepper sprayed and started using violence. So basically, if you're protesting to stop genocide, if you're Jewish and you're protesting to stop genocide, the Democrats will stick the state police on you to attack you. State violence on Jewish people, non-violent protest, and the police pepper sprayed and attacked the protesters. And then the Democrats lied about what happened and tried to blame the Jews for being violent. Wait a minute. The DNC, whose president, Joe Biden, is supplying the Israelis to do their genocide, is accusing the other side, the people saying no genocide, of being violent? Wow, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. So it's not, it's no joke, right? There was another rally. So this one was a non-state sanctioned rally. Where'd it go? That one is not sanctioned. The U.S. government didn't pay for this. The U.S. government isn't helping these people. These people are protesting against the genocide in Gaza, and they were attacked by the police that the Democrats called on them. But meanwhile, there was a U.S.-sponsored pro-Israel rally in Washington, D.C. A U.S. government paid for this rally to support Israel in Washington, D.C. And who went to this pro-Israel, pro-genocide rally? Well, it was Speaker Mike Johnson. The calls for the ceasefire are outrageous. Mike Johnson's all about genocide, right? He's a white supremacist. So they're all about genocide. In fact, that's how they got their country. And they would go back to it if they could. Yeah, absolutely. But he didn't stand there alone, right? He was there with Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and not Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was not there. It was Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. So the Democrats stood side by side with the white supremacist insurrectionist to support genocide. I mean, Democrats and Republicans don't really agree on much, right? Republicans want to overthrow the government, and they don't really follow rule of law. But when it comes to genocide, Democratic leaders and Republican leaders agree. Dude, that's pretty bad. That's pretty messed up. So you can see, so there's a difference, there's a disconnect between the American people and the politicians. Because the American people, all of them, it doesn't matter if Republican, Democrat, or Independent, the majority of American people oppose the genocide in Gaza. And they all want a ceasefire. The majority of Americans want a ceasefire in Gaza. However, American leaders are disconnected from the people and are doing the opposite. I mean, you can see here, right? Approval of Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas war. Do you approve or disapprove of the way Joe Biden is handling the Israel-Hamas war? And of all U.S. adults, it looks like it's split, right? But then you start splitting it across political identity. The Democrats, oh shit, they approve. Holy shit. So really? Democrats approve of Biden's handling of the war? That's weird. Oh, that okay. So it changes once you get to the age groups, I think. No, it doesn't. I don't know. Disapprove. Anyways. Okay. What else we got here? Anne Frank. 1944. Anne Frank. What was she talking about? She has this, remember, she wrote this diary in 1944. Israel was created in 1948. So this is, she wrote this diary before the state of Israel existed. And what does she say? She was writing about how, compare that with Margot, who wants to nurse newborn babies in Palestine. Palestine? Do you mean there was a land called Palestine before there was a state called Israel? And Anne Frank knew about this? Of course, dude, it was common knowledge that there was Palestine. It was Palestine. It was Palestine. 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 It was Palestine. So Israel didn't just appear in a vacuum. They had to steal land from the people who lived there in order to create their state. Wow, sounds really familiar. What's this? Clinton, stop bombing hospitals. So Hillary Clinton in 2022 said, if Russian leadership would rather not be accused of committing war crimes, they should stop bombing hospitals. Ooh, sick burn, Clinton. Sick burn, Hillary Clinton. If a country wants to, what was that? If a country doesn't want to be accused of war crimes, it shouldn't bomb hospitals. Sick burn, Clinton. Oh, look! Israeli Defense Force claims the Shifa hospital is not only the largest hospital in Gaza, but they claim that it's the largest military domain headquarters for Hamas's territory. So what did IDF do? They invaded Gaza. They killed 12,000 innocent people to attack this hospital, to bomb a hospital. Then, when they get there, what do they find? What do they find in this hospital? They invade it, and then where'd it go? So they invaded the hospital, and those were the weapons they found. Like 10 AKs, some clips, a few old grenades, and some WD-40, and some running shoes. That's what they found when they bombed the hospital and they invaded, and they finally took over this hospital that they claimed was a Hamas headquarters. And then on the other side, what's this? This is a home in Texas. In Texas, people have, people are allowed to own firearms. There are way more and better quality weapons in a Texas home than what was found in the hospital. But to get this stuff, they killed 12,000 people. I mean, that's basically wiping out a small town in the United States. They just wiped out a small town for 10 guns. So after IDF bombed this hospital and invaded and killed 12,000 people, they found nothing. So they said, oh, it wasn't that hospital. It wasn't that hospital. It was another hospital down in the south now. Oh, now we have to invade the south. We have to ethnically cleanse the southern part. We're ethnically cleansing the north. Now let's ethnically cleanse the south. Where are the people going to go? Where are they going to go? Egypt is not going to take them. They can't go to the north because it's all bombed out. And now you're going to bomb out the south? That's called genocide. Genocide. That's genocide. Thank you, IDF, but the Hamas head command center is in another hospital. Damn, dude. If Israeli leadership would rather not be accused of committing war crimes, they should stop bombing hospitals. That's what Clinton said. That's what Clinton said. Sick burn, Clinton. So another thing is that Elon Musk is a white supremacist. It's coming out that Elon, well, I mean, like, everyone knew, right? Everyone knew Elon Musk was a Nazi. Fuck, dude, the guy's a billionaire, and he comes from apartheid South Africa. And yeah, he's a white supremacist. Elon Musk is a white supremacist. And an anti-Semite. So this guy, John Schwartz, he called it, dude. This guy knew. Check him out. Back in September, this guy knew what was going on. John Schwartz noted, it seems inevitable that Elon Musk and the ADL, which is the Anti-Defamation League, will come to an understanding in which Twitter users can engage in virulent anti-Semitism, but cannot criticize the Israeli government, thus giving both sides what they care about most. Because Elon Musk is pro-apartheid, right? And the ADL, they want to steal the land of Palestine for the Israelis. So he's predicting in September that they will work together, because the ADL is supposed to be protecting Jewish people from slander, but from defamation. But they don't do that. The ADL, all they do is they protect the state of Israel, not Jewish people. So check this out. In November, then Elon Musk says this. Elon Musk says this. I kill that and bring this up. Decolonization and from the river. Elon Musk says decolonization and from the river of the sea implies genocide. Why would you think that, Elon Musk? What is it about decolonization that implies genocide? I mean, let's take the root of decolonization. Colonization. Because if decolonization means genocide, what does colonization mean? How can you like? Colonization means genocide. Do you see what he's doing? He's taking colonization as genocide. That's what it is. But he's attaching it to decolonization. From the river to the sea, there's nothing genocidal about that. There's no genocidal about that unless you're a white supremacist and you want all the land. And you've engaged in genocide. See, that's the thing. They're projecting what they feel. They want to engage in genocide. I mean, that's what apartheid is. It's genocide. The Israeli state is an apartheid state. It's a genocidal state. South Africa was an apartheid state. That's where Elon Musk is from. So, of course, they both feel that taking away power from themselves would be genocide. So... And then he's supported by the ADLs. See? The ADL. So the ADL is not really pro-Jewish, it's more pro-apartheid. Oh yeah, check it out. Not only was Anne Frank in 1944 talking about Palestine, but so was Shakespeare. In his play Othello, he makes a reference to Palestine. Shakespeare, guys, Shakespeare. Shakespeare's talking about Palestine. Israel is a fictitious thing they just made up. It's a settler state, dude. It's a settler state. It's colonization. In order for Israel to exist, they had to genocide the Palestinian people to take their land. Hey, Swifty Taken. Good morning, sir. Of course I remember you. I'm doing my show. I hope you know that. Okay, let's see. So the problem... Of course I remember you, Mr. Dude. You're always over here. So... okay. I've been sick, man. I've been like sick for a week. I think I got COVID. Like I think I got COVID. So I was like, I can't do anything. Yeah, it was bad. I was like, I couldn't breathe. I was sitting there coughing. And the thing is that I took tests to see if I had COVID, and both tests came up negative, but I felt real bad for like a week. And it was to the point where I couldn't breathe. Like I had to like take extra steps to make sure I could keep breathing at night. It was bad. But I'm gonna try to push through to today. I'm late. I'm still late to do this, but I'm gonna try to do it. So it's pretty obvious that the state of Israel is like an ethno-state predicated on genocide. Sure, you might claim to be a democracy, but it doesn't look like that from here. You don't have a functioning democracy. Your president is a criminal who got rid of judicial review of his laws, so his laws are beyond question. That's not a democracy. But it's not like you like remember these Jews here, they were protesting peacefully against the Israeli genocide, and the Democrats called the police to beat them and pepper spray them. So it's not a safe position to have in the United States of being pro-Palestinian, and it's enforced in multiple ways. Right? It's not just that they'll call the cops on you. It's not just that agitators, the police will come and try to break up your rally with violence. It's not just that. It's also the your place of employment. Your place of employment will try to force you into supporting ethno-state, into supporting Israel, and to take away your right to free speech. So check out this report from Max Tani. Reporters at the LA Times who signed an open letter criticizing Israel have been told that they cannot write about the Israel-Gaza conflict for 3 months. Why? Because they don't support the genocide. And in the United States, that's a dangerous position to have. I didn't have it. Let me grab this other one. The powers that be inside the United States will threaten your job if you don't support the state of Israel. Here, I'm gonna look for my Facebook page real quick so I can pull this one up real quick. Where'd it go? Right here. Observe. Boycott, divest, sanction. Pompeo is cracking down on a movement to boycott Israel. So what he does, let me click on this one. So what he does is, this is from Time. So what he does, on the same day that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, you know Mike Pompeo, he's a big traitor. He knew about the coming coup, and he tried to make it go along. He's a traitor. Fuck Mike Pompeo. So he became the first high-ranking American diplomat to visit an Israeli settlement in the occupied West Bank. So So understand that Israel wants to ethnically cleanse, kill all the Palestinian people and take their land, both in Gaza and in the West Bank. So in the West Bank, what they do is West Bank is occupied. Israel controls all, controls everything in the West Bank. So what happens are Israeli settlers who don't have any land, who didn't pay for it. It's not even their territory, but they come onto the West Bank anyways, next to where Palestinians live, and just take a bunch of land and just say, this is my land now. And if the Palestinian neighbors come out and say, hey, you can't be doing that, then the settlers come out and become very, very violent and attack the Palestinians. If the Palestinians in the West Bank defend themselves against these aggressive settlers, the IDF comes out to defend the settlers. So basically, it's de facto stealing of the West Bank. So that's happening, and Mike Pompeo tacitly endorsed it by visiting one of the occupied territories. And then so of course, what are the people going to do? They're free, right? They can use whatever they want in order to they can spend their money however they want. They can do whatever they want. So one way of resisting the Israeli occupation is by refusing to buy anything from Israel. I'm just not going to buy your shit. So that's called boycott. It's boycott, divest, and sanction. You want to boycott Israel. You want to divest any investments you have in Israel. Just get rid of, undivest, uninvest in Israel, and then sanction. Place sanctions on Israel for its genocide. Let's read this. The boycott, divest, and sanctions movement relies on putting political and economic pressure on Israel. The goal is to push Israel to recognize the rights of the Palestinian citizens currently living in Israel, allow Palestinian refugees who were driven out of the country as early as 1948, when Israel was created, to return to their homes, and withdraw from all land that it seized after the 1967 Arab-Israel War, including the occupied West Bank, which is claimed by the Palestinians. Okay, but wait, where's the rest of it? Anyways, Mike Pompeo wants to make it so that the federal government drops all, or makes it a part of receiving U.S. federal funds, that you will not engage in the BDS movement. Why is that? Why is support of Israel necessary or why is U.S. funds, federal funds, contingent upon the support of Israeli genocide? Why is that? What the hell? I mean, for real. What? That is ridiculous. So Mike Pompeo is a bad guy. And here we go. Senior Israeli officials admit they knew there were no hostages in Al-Shifa. He said the raid was merely a symbol, that there was no place we will not reach. No claim of a Hamas command center. So, at first, the Israelis told everyone, "Oh yeah, there's a Hamas base under this hospital. That's why we need to bomb it and kill everyone there." And then when they get there, they said, oh, the base isn't under this hospital, it's under another hospital. Oh my god, you guys are so bad. So I was out, so this is David Weigel, who was at the Jewish protest for peace at the DNC. So there was a representative, Sherman, who lied about the Jews outside. The Rep Sherman said that the Jewish people outside were violent and they attacked the police. Dude, they're singing. They're singing. They're standing there and they're singing until the police showed up and pepper sprayed them and started a riot. The police showed up and started a riot. That's what the police do. They start riots. So the reporter who was there and took the video was like, no, even though Mike Sherman's lying about what happened, the reporter's like, nope, that's not what happened at all. What else do I got? See, and it's not just the United States too, dude. It's It's not just the United States. In Germany, you have to here. In Germany, you have to sign a pledge of loyalty to Israel in order to get German citizenship. They say right to exist, but what does that mean? Right to colonize? You have the right to genocide people and take their land? You have to agree that to the right of genocide and conquest in order to become a German citizen. And here yeah. So this is translated. When it comes to citizenship law, the group is pushing for the acquisition of German citizenship to be dependent on a commitment to Israel's right to exist. No! Fuck that! Israel does not have a right to exist. I said it. It doesn't have a right to exist. When you steal land to enforce when you use genocide to create your state, that's illegitimate. It's an illegitimate. Yeah, it's illegitimate. It's illegitimate. I'm not saying that the Israeli people should be genocided. That's crazy. No. But it doesn't excuse Israeli genocide of the just because Israelis shouldn't be genocided doesn't mean that the Israelis have the right to genocide the Palestinian people. Yeah, that's ridiculous to make citizenship of a country dependent upon pledging loyalty to a foreign country. That's just crazy, man. Yeah, U.S. public support for Israel drops. Majority backs a ceasefire. So that's what's up. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm kind of sick. I don't want to keep going. Almost done with this. So we have to not get distracted. Israel is trying to drag the United States into a war. The Israeli government wants to have a war with all its neighbors and just take all that land. It just wants to kill everybody, but it can't do it by itself. So the Israeli government is trying really, really hard to drag the United States into a war. And it has a lot of support from both Republicans and Democrats. I mean, the Democrats will literally call the Democrats will use state violence against Jews in order to support the genocide of the Palestinian people. Maybe not all the Democrats. Maybe only I think the progressive Democrats are good, right? They never supported the occupation. They never supported the genocide. They've always been calling for a ceasefire. But the other Democrats, the bad Democrats, like Jeffries, like Schumer, like this guy Mike Sherman, like that guy Mike Sherman who lied about what happened. Yeah, they would happily jump into a war in the Middle East for Israel. Listen, guys, we can't be getting into a war in the Middle East. We can't do it. That's just the stupidest thing ever. My God, have you learned nothing from Iraq and Afghanistan? You can't just be getting into a fucking war. We have nothing to do with this, right? It's none of our land. It's none of our business. It's none of our anything. The reason why we're stuck in, there's two reasons why we're stuck in it. Number one reason is because there's a cult inside the United States, a white supremacist cult inside the United States that uses the symbolism of Christianity in order to advance its white supremacist agenda. And they remember how I told you about the Turner Diaries, which is a white supremacist fanfic. The white supremacists, some white supremacists wrote a story about how it was a fanfic, right? Wrote a story about how the police were going to come and seize all the guns from all the white people, and the white people fought back and started a civil war in the United States and won, and then they launched nukes to kill all the non-white countries so that they could rule the earth by themselves as white people. Yeah, and then that motivates a lot of white supremacists. Well, there's also another story that the cult people use, and it's called the Doomsday Prophecy. And part of the Doomsday Prophecy is that they're going to expel all the Jews out of all the countries of the world and force them to go to Israel. And once they go to Israel, according to these cultists, once all the Jews are in Israel, then the cultists, well, in their belief, the Jews get destroyed. All of them get killed. They all die. And when they all die, then their savior rises. Their God comes back. So the return of their God is predicated upon the death of all the Jews. But before you do that, you have to concentrate them in one area. That's their idea, dude. I'm not even Christian dominionism. I'm not making it up. It's the story they tell themselves. And that's what they're doing. So they're highly motivated for the state of Israel to exist, regardless of the form it takes, because their goal isn't the state of Israel. Their goal is to destroy the state of Israel so that their God can come back. What kind of God is predicated upon the death of all the Jewish people? A white supremacist God. That's who. It sounds like Vlakith or something. I don't know. Okay. So that's one side of it, right? You got a cult inside the United States, highly influential cult inside the United States that wants to fulfill its doomsday prophecy by concentrating the Jews in Israel before and murdering them all to raise their God. Oh man. Okay, but the other side of it is, I don't know, man. The Suez Canal is right there. The Suez Canal is right there. The United States, I would think it'd be highly interested in maintaining a base, maintaining an ally right next to the Suez Canal, because that's where a shit ton of oil flows through. A shit ton of commerce flows through the Suez Canal. So it makes sense that you would want to maintain for realpolitik purposes, not for any ideology, not for any religious stuff, not for any racist stuff. No, just for the fact that, hey, I want a base next to this super important waterway. So it has nothing to do with rights or anything. It's just USA needs a base next to the Suez Canal. But it's good. But this entanglement is gonna threaten to pull us into a war, and that's terrible. We cannot go into a war. We cannot let Israel pull us into a war. Already we're involved in Syria. Already, I don't want to be in Syria, but I don't know why we're there, but we are, and our troops are getting attacked every day, while they're in Syria. Why? Because the enemy of our troops considers our troops and Israel to be the same entity. So if Israel is attacking the Palestinian people, then these, I don't know, if Israel is attacking, then U.S. bases are fair game to these other people. They see Israel and USA as being the same thing. And when I look at it, it kind of is. Right? If the U.S. government is trying to enforce loyalty to Israel, by passing laws saying you can't not spend money here, Yeah, that's kind of disgusting. That's kind of gross. But the other thing is that it takes away from what we should be focusing on, which is Ukraine. Ukraine. We need to keep the eye on the ball. Like, as it is, Syria's a mess. And Syria is a mess because Russia is supporting Bashar Assad in maintaining an iron grip over the region. And yeah, Bashar Assad is a bad guy. He used chemical weapons on his own people. He's a bad guy. You cannot forget Syria. Even though there's not a whole lot we can do there. But besides Syria, because we're already in a war in the Middle East, sort of, or we're trying not to make it into a war. But Ukraine, dude, Ukraine, we gotta keep the focus on Ukraine. The sooner Ukraine achieves victory, the better it is for everybody. So where's the money going? Who's supplying money to Ukraine? So the biggest supply of money for Ukraine is coming from the EU. The EU is supplying them a big chunk of it. 81 billion in money and a total of $90 billion in aid. So the EU supplies the money and the USA looks like it supplies the arms. So it supplies money too, but arms. So and then you got Germany, the UK, Norway, and then Japan, Canada, Poland, Netherlands, and Denmark. So that's everybody chipping in to help out Ukraine. Dude. Where's that money spent? The money that we give to Ukraine, where's that money spent? The majority of money that we give Ukraine is sent right back to the USA. That's what you got to understand. It's not like Biden is writing a big fat check to Ukraine and saying, "All right, here you go, guys. See you later. Have fun." No. What he's doing is he's writing credits. He's like, here's $50 billion worth of credits for you to get your shit repaired because we're giving you all this equipment, but your equipment's going to break down and you don't have the means to repair the equipment sometimes. So we'll do it for you, right? You can pay us to do it for you. So here's $50 billion worth of credits so that you could turn around, ship those things back to us, and then we'll work on it to fix it on you and then give it back to you. So that money is spent in the United States. It's not like foreign aid is a check that gets sent off and it's gone forever. It's basically credits for the U.S. economy. We're just saying, here's credits, spend money in the U.S. economy. That's what we're doing. So it's not like the aid is hurting us. It's helping us. So Dr. Ian Garner asks, can someone explain, like I'm an idiot, what America would gain from ceasing support to Ukraine? I genuinely don't get it. So, and Paul Nealon answers, America? What would America gain by ceasing support for Ukraine? Nothing. We would gain nothing if we stopped supporting Ukraine. We would gain nothing. But the Republican Party would get more election support from Putin. Because remember, Republicans and Putin are like this. Republicans and Russia are tied together. Their number one candidate, Donald Trump, already worked with Russia in order to overthrow the election and tried again and is going to try again. Like, he's never going to stop until the United States gives Donald Trump the death penalty. So let me take you back to the Republican Party Congress that nominated Trump. What was the single change to the platform made then? So when Donald Trump was nominated to be president, or nominated to be the candidate in 2016, so there's all these people, and eventually the Republicans settled on Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is the nominee for president. He changed the party platform for the Republicans once he became the nominee. What did Donald Trump change? He deleted a provision about providing military support to Ukraine. You mean Donald Trump, the guy who was put there by Russia, took away the part that said America would support Ukraine? Wow. So yeah, Russia and the Republicans are real tight together. What else do I got here? Some aside stuff, some weird stuff. All right, here's stuff that it's like just out of the blue. Where gender, so this is another example of how birds of a feather flock together, like the confluence, the convergence of seemingly disparate things, when actually you can see where they converge on the same thing, and you realize, oh, even though they're disparate things, they're the same thing. So where gender affirming care for minors is being outlawed. So if you look on this thing, so the purple are states that protect transgendered healthcare, and the dark red and the red and the pink are all places where transgender care is restricted or eliminated. And if you notice, the liberal areas tend to protect individual rights, and the Confederate controlled areas attack human rights. So you can see that, and these are Confederate controlled states, right? All these are controlled by Confederates. Just because they're controlled by Confederates doesn't mean all the people who live there are Confederates. In fact, there's a good chance that Texas is actually a blue state. But what has happened is the Republicans, the Confederates who control the state, have gerrymandered the state in order to maintain minority rule over the people. So it's not like you can just say, oh, the United States should just cut off those bad states. No, those bad states are filled with Americans who are loyal to the United States. There's a lot of, the Confederates don't completely, it's not 100% Confederate white supremacists who live there. It's more like 50-50 of white supremacists and Unionists. And there's actually more people who are Unionists than there are white supremacists, Confederates. But because of the way the gerrymander has been set up, the white supremacists maintain minority rule, and then so where white supremacists maintain minority rule, in all these places, they take away the rights of the individual and concentrate them into the hands of the elite. But that's what they do, right? That's what white supremacists do. You have to understand, Donald Trump is literally a fascist. So Donald Trump has been using Hitler's words to call to his, and I told you this like years ago, right? I've been telling you over and over and over again. He calls to his shadow army. Donald Trump uses words of fascists to call to his shadow army to prepare them for the next attack. And it'll happen in 2024. The white supremacists are getting ready to attack American elections again in 2024. So that's why I think it's really important that the United States hurry up and finish the trials of Donald Trump, and then give him the death penalty and execute him. It's really important because he's going to keep trying to overthrow the government. He's literally a traitor. He's a traitor. They tried to get him kicked off the ballot in Colorado. It didn't work. Why? Because the judge in Colorado said, well, the 14th Amendment, which you used to try to kick him off the ballot, it says congressmen and senators, but it doesn't say presidents. So you can't kick him off the ballot because it only refers to Congress people and senators, not to presidents. But in the finding of facts, the court did find that that Donald Trump engaged in insurrection. That Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government on January 6, 2021. Yeah, he engaged in insurrection. So the court said, yeah, he's an insurrectionist. Yes, he waged war against the United States. However, the amendment says only senators and Congress people, representatives. It does not talk about the president. Oh, what a fucking loophole. So anyways, so yeah, it's kind of a conundrum, right? We're in a bad it's a bad spot. On one hand, you have a literal traitor, Donald Trump, who's channeling the words of Hitler and has put forth a plan to end democracy in the United States. On the other side, you have a President Biden, who's basically ignoring 80% of his base in order to support a genocide, an overseas genocide. He's done a lot of good stuff, right? Biden's done a lot of good stuff. He declassified marijuana, or no, he reclassified marijuana. He is canceling student loans. His party capped insulin. They did all sorts of great shit. But they're supporting genocide. And Biden himself said, "Oh yeah, I'm a Zionist." Zionists are white supremacists. So Biden is saying he's a white supremacist, and he's proven it by supplying arms to the genocide of Palestinian people. Here, let me show you that Biden saying I'm a white supremacist. There's Biden. I'm a white supremacist. Look at me. I'm a white supremacist. Biden says I'm a white supremacist. Okay. Now what do I mean when I say that Zionism means white supremacy? I mean Zionism is white supremacy. Zionist anti-Semitism is the phenomenon in which individuals, groups, or governments support the Zionist movement and the State of Israel while simultaneously holding anti-Semitic views about Jews. Remember, Democrats called the police to attack peaceful Jews protesting against the genocide. In some cases, Zionism may be promoted for explicitly anti-Semitic reasons. The prevalence of anti-Semitism has been widely noted within the Christian Zionist movement. Remember that cult I was telling you about? Christian Zionists, that's their cult, the Doomsday Cult, whose adherents may hold anti-Semitic beliefs about Jews while also supporting Zionism for eschatological reasons. I think that means for prophetic reasons. Anti-Semitic right-wing nationalists, particularly in Europe and the United States, sometimes support the Zionist movement because they wish for Jews to be expelled, or for Jews to emigrate to Israel, or because they view Israel as the supremacist ethno-state to be admired and held up as a model for their own countries. So, there's a historic link between both the Zionist movement, pro-Zionists, and anti-Semites. Both share at least one basic aim: the emptying of the diaspora of its Jewish population for relocation to Palestine. The Israeli government's alleged collaboration with anti-Semitic politicians abroad has been criticized as an example of Zionist anti-Semitism. So okay, on one hand, you have a guy channeling Hitler and promising to end democracy in the United States. And on the other hand, you have a guy who's using the US military to support an ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people for a bunch of anti-Semites. Man, that's a hard choice to choose between. I would really, really, really encourage the Biden administration to push for a ceasefire, because you guys look real bad right now. All the time, Democrats will run up to people who are supporting Palestine, who are threatening to not vote for Biden. No, because what are you gonna? That's your power, right? As a citizen, that's your vote is your voice, your power. And if your government is doing something that you don't want to do, you don't have to support that government. You don't have to vote for Biden. You don't have to do it. Now, the Democrats might come up to you and say, oh, you have to vote for Biden. If you don't vote for Biden, then that's a vote for Trump. No, it's not. No, it's not. See, that's the thing. Democrats always make that mistake. They think it's either Biden or Trump. Biden or Trump. They feel their enemy is Trump, but that's not true. That's not true. The number one enemy of Democrats is not Trump, it's apathy. It's apathy. It's as in, why should anyone even bother voting if they're not even going to do listen to what I'm saying? The majority of Americans support a ceasefire, and the majority of Democratic elites want to continue the genocide. That's a huge disconnect. Your enemy is not they're not going to turn around and vote for the Republican. They're just not going to vote. You guys have it all messed up. You guys have it all wrong. You're trying to scare people into voting with Trump, and they're just not going to vote. Already, people have to endure a bunch of shit to even vote. and by not listening to what they want, why should they even bother? Biden, you better reconsider your actions here. You better reconsider, Biden. You better listen to your base. Because you're not guaranteed a second term. If you turn around and ditch your entire base to support Israel, don't expect your base to come out and support you in 2024. I mean, you're literally ditching your entire base to support a foreign country. In genocide, not support a foreign country from an invasion. That's respectable, right? I want to support Ukraine so it can resist the Russian invasion. That I'm okay with, right? That's a just cause. That's a righteous cause that America should stand for. Absolutely, right? Truth, justice, and liberty. That's what we stand for. Absolutely, we should support Ukraine in its defense against the Russian invasion. But the majority of Americans want a ceasefire, and the Democratic establishment is pushing for genocide in Gaza. I don't want to support that. I don't want, is that a deal breaker? It might be. Is genocide a deal breaker? We talk, yeah, deal breakers. What's a deal breaker for you? I would have preferred to totally legalize marijuana, but a reclassification to Schedule 3 is a pretty okay compromise. That's not a deal breaker. I would prefer the Inflation Reduction Act was like 4 times the size it was, but that's not a deal breaker for me. I'm like, okay, you do the best you can. Sure, fine. Supporting genocide? Ooh, that's pretty bad. There's no light way of supporting genocide. Oh, we're only supporting genocide just a little bit. Just with a few bombs. Just with a couple missiles. No. No. Genocide is wrong. There's no light way of doing it. It's wrong. And if you support genocide, why should I support you? Because rest assured, that's what's happening in Gaza. It's no military operation. It's not like a defensive operation. It's a genocide. It's a genocide. The Israelis fully intend on seizing all of that land. You better think about it a bit, Biden. You better think about it, Biden. All right, I'm sick and I want to stop. I'll play Minecraft later. I think I'm only getting this far because I took an aspirin. So I'm living off the aspirin. But when the aspirin goes down, I'll feel like shit again. And like crash. Man, oh, it's so bad. I was supposed to fly back to Nevada for Thanksgiving. And that's not going to happen now. Because I'm sick. Anyways. Yeah, this is bad. I mean, it's clear that the Confederates are planning for another attack. It's totally clear. It's absolutely clear. Confederates are going to plan for another to attack this next election. They did last time, and they're going to do it again because nothing was done. The leaders are still out there doing like raising money and shit. None of them have been held accountable. And maybe it's, whose fault is that? I don't know. The Justice Department supposedly was working on it since January 6th, but man, it's been taking fucking ever. And then Donald Trump has all sorts of corrupt ways of dragging it out. Eileen Cannon, the corrupt judge in Florida, just made another ruling in favor of Donald Trump to delay the case for another 45 days. So the way she's got it set up is that it will not come. His case about where Donald Trump stole U.S. secrets and sold them to Saudis, to our enemies, that's not going to come to trial till after the election. That's what Donald Trump wanted, because that gives Donald Trump a chance to overthrow the government in the United States, and then he can just get rid of that entire thing. Because once he's dictator, he's not going to need to do anything about it. So, yeah. It's a dangerous time. And what makes it hard is that, is every person who votes for Republican, are they all Confederates? Are they all white supremacists? Really? Every one of them? I don't know. A lot of them, I think a lot of them are demoralized. And so they're unable to see truth anymore. And they're acting on pure emotions at that point. And so are they really, really evil? Or are they just victims of brainwashing? I mean, because there are evil people, right? There are evil Confederates. they're fucking evil. And yeah, Stephen Miller, Donald Trump, Mike Pompeo, examples of evil people who are white supremacists. They're not brainwashed. They're not confused. They fully know what they're doing. They're evil. But my neighbor down the street, who's fucking working 50 hours a week and only catches what he hears off of the talk radio from work to home, is he really evil, or has he been brainwashed by media? When this guy came up, when this guy showed up, it was, I had thoughts of bad things because at first it was just him by himself in a big group of us, and he came out and just we didn't even talk to him. We were just doing our thing, and he showed up and tried to talk over everybody else and disrupt everything. And I wanted to go up and be violent to him, but that's bad. Violence is bad. If I would have been violent to him, he would have recorded it on his little camera, uploaded to the internet, and then painted the whole movement as evil, just because of what I might have done had I lost control and become violent toward him. Moreover, he wasn't there by himself. He may have appeared to be there by himself, but his cop friends were just waiting for any reason to come in and beat all of us down. All they needed was for one of us to become angry at this guy here and do something. Then the cops would have came in and busted up the entire pro-Palestinian peace march, and then the newspaper would have said violent protesters, Palestinian protesters, you know, rah 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 rah. Like, he knows what he's doing. The cops knew what they're doing. The Nazis know what they're doing. This guy here is evil. He's evil. He's not confused about things. He's a white supremacist, and he knows what he's doing. He's evil. But how do you know? How do you determine between this guy, a white supremacist who knows what he's doing, and a confused American who's demoralized? It's hard to know, man. You have to talk to people and work it out. I don't know. We have like a year before the election. I was hoping that our institutions would save us, and I don't think they're going to. I don't think our institutions are going to save us. I don't think Donald Trump is going to finish trial before the election. I think Donald Trump has enough money and support from white supremacists to keep delaying his trial until after the election. So it's going to be up to us Americans to hold on to democracy. Our institutions aren't going to save us. We have to go out there and talk to our neighbors and find out which ones are white supremacists and which ones are just demoralized, and then see if we can heal the people who are demoralized. And if we can marginalize the white supremacists, suppress the white supremacists, and heal the people who are demoralized. Our institutions aren't going to save us. Right? Like, I remember growing up in the 90s, man. What a great time. What a great time, the 90s. What a great time. The Berlin Wall fell down. Communism looked like it was going down the drain. Like the internet was exploding and promising this brand new technology of consciousness. The economy was booming. People were like, it was just like brightness everywhere, good times everywhere, like good future everywhere. Now I look and for the kids born after 2000, like, you guys haven't seen anything good. Like, there's been no good news for you guys. It's apocalypse and doom the entire way through. I don't know what I can do I don't know. I think if we can defeat them in 2024, they will be broken. Like, we would have broken them in 2020, but they stole the House of Representatives, and of course they had the Supreme Court, right? Oh yeah, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, we learned, is so obviously corrupt. It's terrible. So we need to reform our country big time. We need massive things to reform our country. But we have to make sure that we survive long enough. And so we gotta make sure that, I don't know. We gotta hold on. Alright, until next time. Bogokiro out. Peace. Stop.